Coca-Cola and your local Coca-Cola bottlers. Remember, Coke is it. And by Frito-Lay, maker of Doritos. And by Pony Shoes, manufacturer of fine athletic footwear. Hello and welcome to the Alabama Football Review. Victory number 4 is in the record books, 44-13, Alabama over Memphis State. Coach Perkins, congratulations, another come-from-behind victory.
Thank you, Mike. It was a great victory for our football team, and primarily it's the 4th week in a row that we've got absolutely great effort out of our football team as a whole, and they just played extremely hard, especially in the second half. And the second half is where we showed our true colors, because in the first half we were very fortunate to be in the ball game as close as it was at halftime with all the mistakes and the turnovers that we did have in that first half. Normally speaking, you have the ball 9 to 15 times during the course of a ball game, depending on how things go. We had the ball 6 times in the first half. 50% of those times, or 3 of those times, we turned the ball over, 2 on interceptions and 1 on a fumble. The fumble recovery was on about the plus 6-yard line. It gave them an opportunity to score, and they turned it into a touchdown. In the second half, we had the ball 8 times. A lot of those times came on turnovers by the great play of our defense, and our offense was able to take advantage of it, and out of the 8 times, we put points on the board 7 times. So the second half, we came out as a football team and played the way that Alabama can play. Good, reckless, hard, tough football.
Let's right now go to the action. We start with highlights of the first half. Coach, the offense seemed to sputter a little bit in the first half.
Well, yeah, this first play right here with Walter Lewis being pressured and taking a sack, Mike, was indicative of the first half. You know, we had real good effort from our players. Here's Malcolm Simmons doing the punting, and on this very first punt play, he's injured, and he comes off limping, and then the rest of the day that Terry Sanders does our punting. Their players came very well prepared, I think, offensively and defensively. Here's a great stop by our defensive football team, who played great all day, with the exception of just a couple of spots. Here's a good rush by Emmanuel King, and the big man, John Hand, knocks the ball down. I tell you, when he's up in your face, I would not want to be a quarterback. We force him into a punting situation here. And the little man, Greg Richardson, backs up a little bit further than what he thought he did. He should let that go if it's past the 10-yard line. But he does catch the football, and we're in a hole on the 5-yard line. And Walter Lewis comes out on a little play action, tucks the ball under his hand, and something that he does a great job with every time he does it. He scrambles and puts it out there for a first down. Here's a little play-action pass to Joey Jones, who makes one of 4 great, just absolutely great catches for the day. And draws were real good for us. Here's a draw to Lenny Patrick, who pops it out there for another big first down for us. But overall in the first half, you asked the question, Mike, earlier. Overall in the first half, we had the ball 6 times. 3 of those 6, 50% of the time, we turned the ball over twice on interceptions and once on fumble. Here's a long pass to Jesse Benders. Can't quite make it there. Another time that we're kind of flushed around in the pocket and have to throw it, he picks up Lenny Patrick, and he certainly draws the crowd. And I want to tell you something. Memphis State football team was out there playing really tough football, especially in that first half on us. Here's a scramble by their quarterback, Sparkman, hitting the tight end, number 80 there. He caught free for about 50 yards for the day. Big, good moving target tight end for us. Something that Sparkman does a great job with also is scrambling on the bootlegs. Here's a great stop by Stan Gay and Emmanuel King for our defensive football team. And the thing that hurt us a little bit more than I thought it would, because we had a lot of good work on it during the week, was the option there to Womack, who is a real fine sophomore running back for them. They settled for, I think, something like a 27, 28-yard field goal here.
Into the first quarter, and it's 3-0.
3-0, and we're still trying to get some consistency going. Here's another draw play to Joe Carter, who does a great job of running the draw play. Like I say, the draw play was probably our best running play in the first half. Here's Waller again, back to pass, picks out Ricky Moore, and Ricky turns it up and splits the defenders to make a good game. But the inconsistencies of the little penalties and the interceptions and fumbles and so forth that stopped us in the first half, again, here's Joe Carter on the draw play, is the thing that made us stutter from an offensive standpoint in the first half, to the point that we couldn't get anything going on a consistent basis. Here's one to Jesse Benders out in the flat there. Here's a pass, one of the passes here. Fairs, one of their linebackers had a great day, he was all over the field making tackles, and here he is making an interception on a ball that was meant for Jesse Bendrus, and Walter just couldn't quite see him out of the corner of his eye on the left side there. Here's some good plays here by Billy Pierce. Just played a real good game, I think. He's getting better every week. We're lining up. And here's another good play by Billy right there, and good coverage on their wide receiver. They attempt a 51-yard field goal here, and it's short, and the ball goes over for us.
They had the ball in good field position several times, but that defense held on and kept them out of there.
Yeah, well, the defense played exceptionally well. We put them in a bad position a couple of times during the game on a fumble here in this first half. We put them on the 6-yard line. We give the ball to Memphis State on the 6-yard line going in. Here's Walter hit as he's trying to throw the football, getting pressure on the pass rush, which they did a real good job on us, and turns the ball over again on the interception. But the 2 interceptions that we had did not yield any points. The one that did yield a touchdown was the fumble. Here's their quarterback going back and hitting the tight end again. Here's Scott McRae, and Steve Booker just played an outstanding game. And out there to make that stop, force them again into a punting situation. Their team does a super job of downing the ball on the 1-yard line. 1-yard line. We come out, and first we toss the ball to Ricky Moore, and he does a real good job of cutting it up inside and getting it back out to the 6, a 5-yard gain. And then we have a miscue on a handoff with Joe Carter. They jump on the ball on the 6-yard line, and this is the time that we actually give up the score. We stop them 2 good times here on defense on running plays. They're all over the football and do a great job, but on that 3rd down play, they put a little play action up in there and toss it to their tight end on the backside for the touchdown.
And it's 10-0, Memphis State out on top.
And it's shades of Nashville all of a sudden. You know, it's beginning to wonder if we're going to make a habit of this every week. I certainly hope that's not true. We can't hope to make the type of mistakes that we made early in this game and hope to beat people like Memphis State. Penn State, excuse me.
How important was it to you to get us something on the board before halftime?
Well, I think it's important for us to get anything on the board before halftime, whether it's a touchdown or field goal. You'd hope it would be a touchdown. Here we throw the ball. Here's a great catch by Joey Jones. Just absolutely great in keeping that 1 foot. Great concentration on the football on the sideline. But it's important, Mike, to get something on the board before halftime, before you're going in. Here's another good catch by Joey, but I really don't understand right now why they didn't let that catch count if they brought it back. Here's another draw play. Lenny Patrick does an outstanding job of running the draw.
42 yards out, the first of 3 on the day.
Van Tiffen. Van Tiffen is going to be a household name very quick because he's the best young kicker that I've ever seen.
Coming up next, we'll talk with 2 players who performed well yesterday, Cornelius Bennett and Mike White. Stay with us.
Nice car.
Person to work wonders with a bank loan.
I'm from Central Bank.
I already did.
Well, at Central, you can get a 5-year new car loan.
A 5-year car loan?
That brings your monthly payments way down.
Oh.
And at Central, no matter what you're borrowing for, you save money if you pay early.
No.
If you just got a car loan from another bank, maybe you're being taken for a ride.
Oh, pardon me, sir.
When plotting a game, I think of what each player brings to the team, like Frito-Lay. They're part of our team because they're helping us develop our athletes by contributing $50 for every point we score to our athletic program. Now, great team members help each other out. So when I'm working on a game plan, I enjoy a Frito-Lay snack, and that's what I call teamwork with good taste.
The Frito-Lay University of Alabama Challenge for Champions. Frito-Lay is the maker of regular and nacho cheese-flavored Doritos brand tortilla chips.
It's the most refreshing way to make the most of every day. And wherever you go and whatever you do, there's something big waiting for you. For you. Go get it. The biggest taste you've ever found. Go get it. The one that never lets you down. Go get it. The most refreshing taste around. Go get it. Go get it.
2 players with us who had good games yesterday in the victory over Memphis State. They are Cornelius Bennett, freshman from Birmingham, Alabama, a linebacker, and Mike White, offensive center, junior from Atlanta, Georgia. Cornelius, we'll start with you. 44-13 over Memphis State. That score is a lot worse than the game really sounds. You guys really had a tough day out there on defense, a hard day.
Yeah, the defense, we had to really come together because, you know, what happened to us last week was kind of embarrassing, you know, but today, I think we really proved that the defense was able to withhold, and now we have to get better because, you know, can't play like that every week coming from behind, and, you know, because we're getting into the thick of the schedule now. But I think we're going to get together this week at practice, and next week against Penn State, you know, we'll be all together.
Cornelius, in the second half, did you do anything different? Did you sense a different attitude in the team in the second half?
Yes, well, you know, came back out for halftime. Everybody was a little bit more fired up than was the first half because when we first came out, you know, we were kind of flat. You know, I was on the sideline trying to get everybody up, and everybody just look at me, and, you know, they'll see, you know, come on team about 1 or 2 times, but then that'll be it. So I was trying to keep them up on the sideline while I was over there. But, you know, at the second half, we came back out, we were pretty fired up.
Mike White, the offense put 44 points on the board yesterday. But it wasn't that easy for the offense either. It was a tough day.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of scary coming from behind 2 weekends in a row like that. But it was especially scary for some of us. And we didn't seem as cool this week as we had last week. And we were kind of rattled because we didn't expect Memphis State to come out there and do what they did. But like Cornelius was saying, we got it together, and we came out there, and we knew we had a better team than they did, and we just had to go out there and do it.
When the offense has a couple of drives going where you get a couple of first down and then there's a turnover, a fumble or an interception or something, does that frustrate you a little bit? How do you go about handling that?
Well, it's really a big letdown because when you're getting things going, you can feel it. And, you know, you get a couple first downs on your belt, you feel like you're going to take it on in and score. But then when an interception or some sudden change like that, a fumble, it kind of takes it all out of it. You come over the sidelines, and you just kind of regroup, thinking, well, you know, we were doing well. It wasn't our fault, especially on the offensive line, because usually an interception isn't our fault. In some cases it is, but you got to just say, well, just put that behind us and get back out there next time. Hope the D can come up with a turnover for ourselves.
Second half, things clicked.
Yeah, we went into the locker room and looked at some fronts that they were lining up in. They were doing some things different than we anticipated, and we got a real good coaching staff. Coach Henshaw and Coach Good and the other offensive coaches got it together and just told us what we had to do, and went out there and did it.
Cornelius, there was so much talk over the summer. You coming into school, a highly recruited player. Were you going to play tight end, running back, or linebacker? The decision made by, I suppose, you and the coaches was at linebacker. How do you feel about the position, and how do you feel about having a career as a linebacker?
Well, now that I'm at linebacker, I think, you know, it was the right decision for me play linebacker, but sometimes things go through my mind that I want to play tight end. You know, that'll always be there because you know, sometimes I just want to get out there and, you know, play a couple snaps with tight end. You know, but linebacker, I think that, you know, it's going to be the best position for me.
You look like a guy when you're playing. I watch you. You're really enthusiastic out on that field. You're an emotional football player. You look like you really enjoy what you're doing. Are you having a good time out there?
Yes, I'm having a very good time, but I'm sort of a quiet person, but, you know, when it's time to let go, I let go, you know. And I just go out there and get the job done.
Mike White, this offensive line starting to gel a little bit, and you protected Walter Lewis pretty good today and opened up some holes for Patrick and Ricky Moore. You feeling good about the performance of the line?
We're doing pretty well. Today was a letdown, especially for us, because we had a couple sacks, which is something we really hadn't had any trouble with during the year. But like Cornelius said earlier, that we're coming into the meat of the schedule. We'll really find out next week what we're going to be like against Penn State. They got some experienced linebackers that have played in bowl games and national championship teams. And it's going to be tough, but I think our line is really coming together. We're 2, maybe 3 deep in some spots with some really good talent, and we're going to be a good line.
Sounds great. Cornelius, Mike, thanks for being our guest on this show today, and congratulations about the win over Memphis State. Good luck against Penn State. Thanks. Now it's time for our weekly university feature, and to tell you about that, here's Sydney Kohara.
Thank you, Mike. Every day, modern technology is changing the world we live in. Tonight, in our special university feature, we discover how it's changing the world of engineering.
This is Mobile Bay,
a vital part of the state's geography and economy. This is another view of Mobile Bay. And while it may look like a confusing array of lines, arrows, and numbers to you, well, here at the University of Alabama's College of Engineering, it's a model of success. It's called computer modeling, and it's revolutionizing engineering.
Rather than building an actual physical model of a system and studying it, we can write the basic governing equations and solve them numerically on the digital computers.
The Dean of Alabama's College of Engineering, Dr. Bob Barfield, is enthusiastic about computer modeling and its unlimited potential.
There are no areas of engineering, in fact, very few aspects of your life that are not going to be affected by the results of computer modeling and simulation of systems. In the past, in order to experiment on, say, an airplane, you'd have to build a huge wind tunnel and you'd put models of the plane inside. We now have a capability to simulate all of this on a computer. It means that we can do it far more cheaply than in the past, so that an investment in a computer today can mean an investment that's equal to buying new labs in all areas of engineering and in business and even in human systems.
And Dean Barfield says his college is already preparing for this new era of computers.
We expect to have facilities here that will make us competitive with any of the major universities in the United States.
Computer modeling is changing the direction of modern technology as much as a seawall could change the direction and flow of Mobile Bay. And those changes are already happening in the College of Engineering at the University of Alabama.
Coach Perkins, for the first time this year, coming out to start the second half, Alabama's behind.
Well, Mike, that's just another experience that our football team obviously has to go through. Last week we went through an experience of coming back from a 17-point deficit to going at halftime even. This week we're behind, and normally speaking, a coach, when something doesn't go just right in the first half, you say to your players, hey, man, let's go back out the second half and play it like we're behind. This time we were really behind.
Defense came out in the second half like it wanted to make something happen.
Well, we came out as a football team, Mike, wanting to make things happen. And Todd Roper forces a fumble here. Mike Rodriguez jumps on it, and they give us great field position. Now, do we have what it takes to do something with it and make something happen and get on the board with it and take advantage of it? Here, toss the play to Lenny Patrick to start with there. Come back with a third down play, and Walter Lewis does an outstanding job of picking out his secondary receiver, Joey Jones, in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
The defense comes right back, and they are playing inspired football.
Yes, they are. They're playing great, and they absolutely just play great in the second half. They're swarming the football all over, and can't say enough good things about it. Here's Sparkman on the bootleg out. He just can't hardly get the ball away. And here's Freddie Robinson over on the right doing a great job coverage-wise to let the pressure get to the quarterback. Then we get the ball back again, and Walter hits Ricky Moore on a little short pass, and we get some good yardage.
The short passing game seemed to work well.
The short passing game was working well because they were dropping all their guys off in the coverage a lot. This is a fourth down play, 4th down and 2. A toss play to Lenny Patrick out there, and I think he gains 12 or 14 yards on it, and a big first down at that point in time.
And here's the big play in the touchdown drive. One of the big plays.
The big play here is, it's a penalty play. We find Joe Carter in the back of the end zone. We get a flag on it. Interference call puts it on the 1-yard line, and we sneak it in for the touchdown.
Ran the quarterback sneak a couple of times yesterday. Haven't seen that much.
Well, we haven't really been in a situation to run the quarterback sneak that much. Basically, if it's less than a yard, we'll probably go to a quarterback sneak a little bit more, and we haven't had that many plays that have been less than a yard. Here's a little misdirection play by their team. Pops it up there on the defense real good. He loses the ball, but it pops up into one of their players' hands for a big gain. Then they just run a lead back play. The fullback makes a great block up in there, and they make about 12, 13 yards on it. Another big first down for them. They hurt us with that play, particularly in the first half, that play in the option more than anything else. Here's a quarterback running the option and keeping it. We force him to keep it, but he makes a pretty good gain on it. Now we get some good pressure. He's getting hit right when he turns the ball loose, and I thought Paul Tripoli was going to make a good interception here. He does go up and make a great play to break it up.
Don Glosson with a 48-yard field goal, and they're a little closer.
We get a good team effort here on a kickoff return. We probably should have kept this in the end zone, but we get a good job of blocking up front, and Joe Carter does a real good job of bringing it out to the 25-yard line. Here's Walter Lewis going back again to throw the football. Does a great job of running around and crawling out of arm tackle to try to hopefully get back to the 20-yard line. They forced us into a punting situation. Terry Sanders is punting for us most of the football game because Malcolm Simmons got hurt on the first punt. We were a little bit lucky here, and the ball just takes the only bounce that it could and roll the only way that it could to roll inside the 15-yard line for what turned out to be a great punt.
They put a new quarterback in, Paige Belangi, and the Alabama defense does not treat him too kindly.
Yeah, he's comes out the first half, and we get it knocked down at the line of scrimmage. You know, we've got some tall people, and John Hamm especially, and he's awfully hard to throw the ball over. He loses the football, and Emmanuel King is right there to make the play. There's an awful lot of red jerseys around to make that play. You know, to be in on it, and they're getting a little excited, getting a little emotion now going in the second half. And I think when one part of the team does that, the other part of the team picks up. Here's Manny Patrick. He's piling it over the pile for the touchdown and put it in the end zone. You know, it's real good that when the defense does a great job of playing and turning the ball over in a great field position, if the offense can take advantage of it and put the ball in the end zone, that's a big factor.
Alabama leads it 24-13.
Here's their quarterback, Spartman, again rolling out. Great play by Wayne Davis and Vincent Elder and Todd Roper and all those guys over there just really playing with a lot of enthusiasm right now. Another great catch by Joey Jones after a little play action fake.
And that would set up a field goal of 34 yards by Van Tiffin.
Field goal of 34 yards by Van Tiffin. I tell you, he's going to really make a name for himself, Ron.
Now 27-13, Alabama.
Here's their quarterback back to pass. A great shoestring tackle here by Emmanuel King. He's going to pick up a big first down in minus territory if he don't make that play, but that is a great effort on his part. The ensuing punt, we take the ball over in real good field position. First play, we saw a little go pattern to Greg Richardson. A great throw and a great catch. Just running by him for the touchdown.
And you speak of emotion, Greg Richardson has a little emotion.
Speak of emotion, he's getting a little excited there. You know, not only emotion, that young man has great ability, and he's going to be a great player before he leaves here.
The defense is playing with reckless abandon, and we really see it.
That's the way you have to play defense. That's the way we're used to Alabama playing defense. Here's the hitting. You know, we're having a little bit of fun now. You know, that first half, I don't know how many of us were having too much fun, but we're having a lot of fun now. Here's a great play by Walter Lewis. Finding his tight end, he was rushed by an outside linebacker that we're not blocking on the play. He has to pick him up himself, and he does a great job of getting to the tight end there. Play action pass. Does a great job here of picking up the secondary receiver and Greg Richardson. Greg slips down. He might be able to make a few more yards out of this play. There's Joe Smith up in front of him trying to make a block for him, helping him out.
A couple of fresh backs then. One of them's going to carry the mail here.
All right, here's Mickey Ginier taking a pitch out, doing a real good job of running the football up there, gaining 8-10 yards.
And here comes the touchdown pass.
Touchdown pass, we were expecting a blitz in this situation. They have a tendency of blitzing, but Joe Smith gets inside of his defensive back and makes a good play for the touchdown. I tell you, Walter Lewis did a great job all day. Did a great job all day. He could have done 2 or 3 things a little bit better, but I tell you what, overall, he did a great job. Here's our defense again, just getting a lot of people in there. At this point in time in the game, we force them into a punting situation. We're going to get some new backs in the game. I think this is the point in time we're doing this.
One of the freshmen, Kerry Good, in the ball
Kerry
game.
Good really hadn't had the ball, hadn't had the playing time since that first game, Georgia Tech, but he's got great ability, and I think he's going to be a great player. I don't have any question about it. We toss it to him here to the right side. We're just running the football. We're going to just trying to get the clock run down here.
Time's running out.
We can just make a couple first downs. We do have a chance to give Van Tiffin an opportunity to see if he can make a 51-yard field goal. that's an experience that he needs to go through, I felt like, at this time. It wasn't that we needed the points. We certainly didn't need the points, but just to give him an experience to make a 51-yard field goal. You don't know. We might need a 51-yard field goal to beat Penn State next week.
Here's the last play of the football game. Fourth victory for Alabama is in the record book. The final score, Alabama 44, Memphis State 13. We'll be right back with a quick word about next week's opponent, Penn State.
It's the most refreshing way to make the most of every day. And wherever you go and whatever you do, there's something big waiting for you. For you. Coke is it, the biggest taste you've ever found. Coke is it, the one that never lets you down. Coke is it, the most refreshing taste around. Coke is it. Coke is it.
We at the University of Alabama have a history of great champions, and we're proud of it. Frito-Lay is helping us to build future champions by contributing $50 for every point we score to our athletic program. Now, that's what I call a great team. Frito-Lay and the University of Alabama working together to build great champions.
The Frito-Lay University of Alabama Challenge for Champions. Frito-Lay is the maker of Lay's and Ruffles brand potato chips.
Coach Perkins, next week a trip to State College, Penn State. They're defending national champs, but they've gotten off to a rather slow start this year.
Well, yes, Mike, they have, but they had a very convincing win over Rutgers yesterday. They are, as you say, the defending national champions, and Joe Paterno and his staff and Penn State have a fine track record. It would be a little bit different for our football team because we went to Penn State 2 years ago, so that means a lot of our players have never been to Penn State. It's one of 2 grass fields that we'll play on all year, and their field is a rather soft, tight field, so we have to have a special shoe in which to wear. But Penn State certainly has a very fine football team, and we're going to have to be ready to play 64 minutes of good, tough football.
And Coach, again, congratulations, the win over Memphis State, 44-13.
Thank you, Mike.
And we'll see you next week right here for the Alabama Football Review and hopefully talking about another Alabama victory. The Alabama Football Review is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Frito-Lay, Central Bank, and by Pony Sports and Leisure Incorporated. Production transportation furnished by Budget Rent-A-Car of Birmingham. You don't give up a thing at Budget. Executive producer of the Alabama Football Review is Robert Fraley. Produced and directed by Tom Moore. Technical director, Mike Harden. This is Mike Hogwood speaking for Sidney Kohara and head coach Ray Perkins.